Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy day of Mercury to all of you. Welcome to Beyond the Veil. I am Adina, you guys' hostess and resident medium here on this channel. This is a channel where we do mediumship and readings, divinations, and we talk about spiritual things, spiritual sciences, spiritual arts around here. So if that's not your thing, I invite you to leave so that you don't ruin your day um, with my foolishness. And if that is your thing, I welcome you to stay around here with my community. We are very kind, warm, and welcoming. And so, with that being said, to all of my regular viewers, subscribers, bush watchers, busted babies, OGs, welcome to Beyond the Veil. Happy Wednesday. Love you guys. Hey, Tiara, Mama Fakit. Hey, Sissy. Hold on, you guys. I got to plug up my charger and it might disrupt the screen with that stupid. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, just got to make sure I don't run out of juice. Hi, Life with Sammy. Happy Wednesday. I'm not a big fan of saying good morning. Sometimes I'll catch myself saying it out of habit, but I intentionally say happy whatever day of the week it is because I like to be intentional with my words and I don't want any of us to mourn good. So that's why I typically start the day or start the live with saying happy whatever day it is. And in this case, happy Wednesday. So happy Wednesday, Sammy. Happy late or early Wednesday afternoon. Tiara, it must be morning where you are because it's 11:36 in the morning here and you're about to make coffee and start work. What time is it in Vegas? Okay, Sissy, go ahead and put them in the chat. So I don't even have to tell my OGs what time it is with when it's a let's chat because they know that that means if there's something that they've been wanting me to look into in a spiritual way, then the let's chat means go ahead, put it in the chat and let's talk about things. I typically have my own topics, and that's the lives when you'll see a specific thumbnail regarding the topic I'm going to discuss. And I'll come back later this evening and do another live and a members live tonight. Mariah the Scientist and Young Thug with Engagement. What perspective am I going to go with reading that? It has to be something that we want to see other than just their relationship. Because if you, when it without the cards, because you guys, I don't need the cards. So without the cards, I'll say this, and this isn't even spiritually. This is coming from experience, age, wisdom, and all of that. What's there to see? There's nothing to see here. It's two young people in a relationship, and that's what it looks like sometimes when two young people are in a relationship. It looks, messy sometimes because to be honest, in your 20s, you're still you're still figuring yourself out and settling. In your late 20s is when you start settling, which is why in your 30s, you usually feel like you're at your peak because you finally come into who you really are and then who you want to be. And Mariah's is a lover girl for the lover girls, and this is what it looks like. She's a melter. That's what I call people like her in relationships. I call them melters because they kind of melt into their significant other. They melt into the relationship and lose their shape and form because they've melted themselves into the relationship and their significant other. And so that's the best way I can describe them. And that's what it is. At some point, one of them will start taking form, and then we'll see what their relationship looks like when that happens. Thank you, Miss Thomas, for the floating heart. You always come through bearing gifts, and I am here for it. Blessings to you for always being a blessing to me. Is Lotto pregnant by 21 Savage? All right, we'll do a womb check. Spirit, Most High Mother and Father God, is the rapper Lotto. I think her name is Alyssa. I would love for her to go by her name Alyssa, but I think that would take away like the aura of female rap. Alyssa is so innocent and pure. So it'd be hard for her to pop her stuff calling herself Alyssa. So I get it, but it's such a becoming name for a young dainty girl, and she gives me young dainty girl. She gives me I'd rather be soft life than any of this other stuff. But yeah, Alyssa is a pretty name. It makes me think of the spring. It makes me think of a spring meadow, a meadow in the spring full of flowers and fresh air and sunlight and open space. It makes me, is it because of Alyssa Milano? I was about to start singing Wide Open Spaces. Yeah, I was about to go down seventh heaven in pumpkin spice latte. Pumpkin spice latte. Pumpkin spice latte. Oh, didn't her and Ice Spice do a song together? They should be a group called Pumpkin Spice Latte. I like y'all like that? Y'all like that for Lotto? Pumpkin spice latte and Ice Spice pumpkin spice latte. And she has the orange. Boom! Oh, oh, we just did it, busted babies. We just did it again. we just did, we just did our genius thing again. They should form a corny ass, really bright super group called Pumpkin Spice Latte. Oh, Lotto, Latte. And Lotto should change herself to Latte. And Ice Spice should bring back the orange hair, and then boom, Pumpkin Spice Latte. And to be honest, if they did that, they would be more iconic than they've ever been on their own. You're welcome, Jizz. I stand my idea. I stand my idea. Call me girls when you're ready to start getting to the creative bag again. I've been telling the celebrities, get into your creative spirit, but the problem is all the new celebrities aren't celebrities because they're creatives. They're celebrities because they're influential. So they don't know how to get into their creative bag. But if you guys start paying Big Mama Busset the big Busset bucks, I got enough creative juice for all them dry bitches. I'm the oasis in the middle of the Sahara. Pumpkin spice latte super group. I will stand. I might not listen to any of their music, but I will stand. I will stand what they stand for because it makes sense. It does. It just does. It just freaking does. All right, let's see if pumpkin spice latte, if the latte half of the pumpkin spice group is with child from a savage. We have a latte colored lottery ticket that could be with child, you say, sissy, by a forever 21-year-old savage. I like the pumpkin spice latte mixture better, but sure, let's just see. You know, I don't really want to offend all of my UK and British friends out there in London, sipping morning tea and eating bean toast. But I do say I'd rather call him 21 Night than 21 Savage. London, the UK doesn't really ring bells of savagery and Atlanta haberdashery. It really gives me Hogwarts and knighthood. I'd rather call him the 21 Knight. Do you say? Hmm? Hey, Kitwana. I'd rather call him the Knight of 21 Hood. I don't get Atlanta thuggery from him, no. He is a knight. He has been knighted from birth. 2121. Exactly, Miss Thompson. 2121. It's because I've been sipping a not so pumpkin spice latte. It is a ice cloud latte with chocolate cold foam and protein milk, but it's a latte nonetheless. 2121. Woo, you guys are tripping me out. Okay, you guys, let's check her womb. Let me get my gloves on and go inside of that thing. Lotto, Sissy Barbie wants you to lay it low and spread them wide for us while I stick my head in there and see if there's a young knight in there. Is there a young 21? Is there a 42 in there? Is there a young knight at 42 in your womb, Lotto? All right. Thank you, George. Thank you, George. I'm so glad you think I'm as yummy as breakfast tea, bean toast pie in 2121. 21, have you and Lotto made a young 42? All right. Most High Mother and Father God, please allow me to see inside of Lotto's womb, I guess. Spirit is Lotto, Alyssa Savage. Alyssa, I don't know her last name. Is the rapper that goes by Lotto, is she currently with child? Is she currently pregnant? I won't say with 21's baby because she could just be pregnant. Miss Thompson. I don't think it's diabolical. I think it's genius. I think it's brilliant, darling. You can get your head chopped off, Rance. Can you get some head? Sure. Chopped right off. Coming right up. When you guys say stupid things like that, I don't assume you have a head. I don't assume, because you don't seem to think, so I assume you don't have a head at all. Happy 2026, Amon. Welcome to the foolishness. Another year. We're here to do it again. All right. Is Alyssa Savage pregnant? Is she pregnant? No. And actually, let me tell y'all how I know this card means no. Because once upon a time, I had to ask that question for myself. I got this. I got this. And I was like, whew. Won't try that again. Won't catch me slipping like that again. to be young and sexually undisciplined. Danny, if you're not trolling me and if you really mean what you say, email me at beyond the veil adina at gmail.com. And if you like, we can do a consultation on that at no cost to you. I do free consultations for those who are in predicaments like yours, families who have victims in their family who did not get justice in the courts of law. If you'd like, you can email me and we'll set up a consultation and then we'll check into the matter and see if there's anything that I can do to assist. Yes, Adar, I thank you. The path ahead is vivid, yet I find myself paralyzed by the weight of my own ego. I see the change, yet unable to act a slave to them. How do I unbind them? Beyond the veil, Adina at gmail.com. Email me and for a consultation, and then we can talk about that. But thank you. A lot of us not pregnant because whomever she would be pregnant by is in a situation already. And no, no. I do think that she is a mistress to someone. She's in the shadow behind the out openly behind the veil, so to speak. And I think there is an understanding that a new child cannot be, including publicly declaring and expressing our love cannot be for some reason at this moment, and that some reason would probably be this marriage card. In short, this is in my opinion, a woman that is dealing with a man who is already attached to someone in a very traditional way. And she's in an openly secret relationship with that person. And even though they can't outwardly declare their love, they also can't outwardly start a family together because of this. She wants to be, though. It's the only thing she doesn't have. It seems like he financially probably takes care of her. So she lives a good life. But the one thing she doesn't have and cannot have is this new life here. Because that would ruin this family unit here in a way that might be legally a problem. So I think most of you guys' theories about that situation is right. All right, what else? If she's pregnant, it ain't from 21. I'll say that. But not the pregnancy card would have been this. But it's on the bottom. The rest of those make me feel like no. Oh, Miss Thompson, you're too kind, dear. All right, what else y'all got? Hey, happy Wednesday, Art. Art T. See, saying your name makes me, I have to separate it because it gives me a version of Auntie. So I have to say Art T. Because if I just said Art T, Artie, I don't know. My mind works that way, but I want to put respect on your name. So Art T, astrology. Happy Wednesday to you, dear. All right. Let's chat, you guys. Anything else y'all want me to look into, or y'all don't want to do this today? Hey, Banji, won't stop, don't stop. Kim shut North Page down when? Because just last night I got another suggestion to follow that child. And I do not appreciate that. Gavin and Trump. Who is Gavin? Oh, the Gavin Newsom person. What about them? I would be so pleased to see that page shut down because I think it's strange. I've never gotten on my Beyond the Veil page. That's a private page, but I've never on any of my pages got a suggestion to follow any child, even if they are famous. So why are they marketing her Instagram page to adults is what I would like to know. And whenever she's posted on adult blogs like the Shade Room and things like that, I'll read the comments because I like to gauge the collective consciousness by what the collective is saying. And the adults are living. They're using that word specifically. You guys are living for North. You guys stand North. You guys are here for North. She's exactly how you guys would be at 12 with money, is what they be saying. So I can see why they would think adults would be interested if they're gauging the comments too. Gavin and Trump, what are they doing? What are they doing? I can't do whatever I want to do, Miss Thompson. The let's chats are for you guys to tell me what to do. What I want to do would come later. I have to have time to prepare for what I'm going to bring, the topic that I'm going to read on. Let me see what is going on with Gavin Newsom and Trump before I decide to talk about it. I say that, Miss Thompson, because this year I've decided to embark on a journey that I typically have visions for myself, and I don't call them goals, I call them visions. Everything I've ever done in life, I saw it first, and most of it was in my childhood. And I'm living everything I saw for myself at 8 years old, 10 years old. And so I don't really have goals. I see things for myself, or I see them in my mind and then I feel them. That's how I know they're supposed to be birthed. And there's something, and they're usually so grand and so great that I put them as 5 to 10 year goals. But my spirits have told me as I was mowing over things and trying to strategize and plan yesterday and the past couple of days, my spirits are telling me that we usually have to push you into things because if we let you in your stellium in your sixth house, which is a Virgo house, even though it's in Libra, which can also overthink, but overthinking Libra who can't make a decision with a perfectionist in a perfectionist Virgo house, that can be somebody that never gets anything done, although they have great content to do things. They have great talent. And so I have Mars in that stellium in my sixth house. Mars is the only planet I have that's in the Virgo portion of my sixth house. And so it's like that Mars in the 29th degree in Virgo is the thing that gets me. So that's why when I see something for myself, I have to feel it. That spark that I feel, it tells me to act on it. Otherwise, I'll mow over it and plan for it so long and try to map out all the fine print details and make sure it's perfect before I do it. And so there's a goal, there's a vision I have for myself, and I'm now seeing things for my retirement era. And so there are things that I want to do to retire on, not to stop working on, but my era of what I'm going to do when I'm no longer actively out chasing and building, when I can nurture everything that I've built. And my spirit was telling me one of the things you have to do is just start doing it now. Start doing it now. So by the time you're ready to, stop grinding so hard and just nurture everything, it's already there for you to nurture it. And it's already established. So it's already a house for you to housekeep, so to speak. And so it's like you have to start planting the seeds practically now and then harvesting them. And so I was like, okay, what does that look like realistically for me? Because I would start thinking that I have to completely change everything I'm doing now and start doing something else. And my spirits told me, no, 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 no. You've already started building. So continue to build upon what you've already built. And so, how that fits into what I do here is that makes me start thinking about how I feel about the content that I do here for you guys. And I already tell my members how I save the good stuff, what I feel is most valuable, important for my membership channel, because those are the people who invest themselves into what I feel like I contribute as value. Not just here to, be entertained by what's going on with celebrities and stuff, but because they actually pay every month for the content that I put over there, it tells me that they value that. And so I find myself really, I do more Let's Chat because I don't know what I want to talk about other than the things that I know that the mass public don't care about. And I find myself getting less passionate about doing certain things because as I grow, I don't want to waste energy on things that do not provide any value and don't serve a purpose. I want you guys' time with me. I want everybody to leave, not just getting a heads up on things that are going to happen, but whether you're here to be filled and fulfilled or not, I want to implant something in everybody. And so I feel like I have to slowly but surely change the direction of what I mass produce on this channel. And that is where I am so that I can start steering this thing into a direction that is going to be in alignment with where I am growing as a person. So, let me catch up on what you guys were saying. Yeah, I'm not reading Cardi B anymore. There's really nothing else to say. I did her 2 days ago, and I said she was going to be integrated into this Stefan thing. I mentioned that she had been in contact with the girl. I said things were going to get messier for Stefan due to all of this stuff. And so that's that I can't. Every time I predict something, I have to go back and then read on the details of it. Just catch that tea before I give it to you. When I give it to you before it happens. Yes, I did. I did art 2 days ago, actually. I think that was Monday. Investigating Newsom. Trump is investigating Newsom. Trump would investigate. Trump does what he has to do to defeat all of his ops. There's an op that pops up. He peeps out the enemy and then finds out the best strategy to destroy them. For Newsom, he's a politician and a law person. So the law is how he will use him. If he doesn't have enough salacious bones in his closet that would do him more harm than investigating him would, and investigating is digging up his bones. So it's war. That's it. It's political war. North is likable. I can see that. No, I'm not from Baltimore, strict friends. I'm born and raised in Florida. Do you think the US will ever reduce the amount of processed food? Tiara, I didn't mean to laugh at you. I hope to laugh with you. Laugh with me. Hell no. For what? What incentive would they have to do that? No. That's like saying, will the medical complex, will the medical industry start healing instead of treating? No. How are the hospitals going to get their funding from big pharma if the doctors at the hospital and at the doctor's office aren't prescribing you their medications? So no, what incentive is it in there for a capitalist United States of America? No. If they stop processing your food, you might start thinking clearly. And then you might stop going to the doctor, which then what are the pharmaceutical? What's a big pharma? If you stop eating processed food, you might get healthy. The fuck? No. Oh, you guys. Oh, that was that was really cute. It's cute. Pick one of those countries where the food is pure and just move there. Just leave. That's your best alternative. Or move to a rural. I hate trying to say that because my rural area, and grow and start gardening. I have the privilege of that because I'm born and raised in the country. And so I have plenty wide open space. We even have community gardens around here, right up the street. You can go and plant your own shit. All you got to do is take care of the garden when you use it and take care of the other stuff that's there. And anybody can come and pick stuff and pluck stuff for nothing. We have plenty community markets around here. We have so many alternatives for fresh, straight from farm. I can go into my favorite grocery store, Key Foods. It used to be called Bravo Markets. Now it's called Key Food. I went in there and got a 25 case of farm fresh eggs from a local farm for $4.89. And that wasn't even on sale. That's just the regular price. Straight from farm. They ain't even cleaned them all the way off. And they got the name of the farm. It's in a crate wrapped in saran wrap. 25, 4.89. And it's full of fresh produce. You know what I'm saying? It don't even, it's like my nieces and my nephews, when I take them in there, they scared to eat it because it looks like they not used to seeing what fresh food looks like. It doesn't look all shiny, perfectly plump because it's been injected, made to plump out. It's got some dents and some things, but we start getting them accustomed to know what real food looks like. And so now, they just be eating that shit because it tastes good. We teach them about things that are, it's supposed to have seeds in it. So just spit them out or whatever. But I can go right down the street and there are several markets and people with stands on the side of the road, farmers. It's local garden places where you can get fresh flowers. And sometimes when they're in season, they just give away a whole bunch of whatever fruit or vegetable they harvest. When muscadines was recently in season, they were giving them away everything, everywhere you was eating, getting muscadines. My mom's church, it's a guy who owns a farm at my mom's church. They give away eggs, muscadines. So many butchers around here because they're farmers, so they slaughter the meat there. I don't eat nothing but farm fresh everything. Meat, I go to the farmers market once a month and get their meat packages. They sell them in bundles, different variety plans, and then I just go and stock up. So if you don't have the luxury of that, find it. Make the sacrifice. Start planning to make lifestyle changes. That's the only alternative. Or get your money up so that you can afford the really expensive good stuff. And if it's in the stores and the chain stores, I don't trust none of that shit. None of it. I even get cheese from the farmer's market because I made a macaroni and cheese and baked it in the oven on 400 for, close to an hour or so. And the top layer of cheese, there was still cheese that I shredded. So it came from the block cheese that I shredded, but it still hadn't all the way melted. It was still visibly strong. And I was like, ain't no goddamn way. So yeah, I was like, that's not gonna work for me. And I only did that because it was right before the holiday and all the farmers markets were kind of closed 2 days before. So you had to get them on the third day before Christmas. and I ran in a store and I was like, I'll get the block and just shred it myself. But no, that block shit ain't even safe no more. So no. I only drink spring water, not even purified. I'm from Florida. I got a spring running underneath my house right now, the aquifer. So I have the luxury of doing that. And what my future looks like, it also looks very much, listen, sustainable. All right. So that's my advice about things. If you want to try to survive, because they're just going to continue to process everything. And then, didn't you guys hear about the Campbell's soup executive who got recorded talking about talking about the company, talking about the product? He was like, I won't even eat that shit, that 3D. He was like, once I found out what was in it, he called their chicken noodle soup. He said it was 3D printed chicken. And this came from a whistleblower employee. So, what incentives do they have to stop processing the food when everybody is going to continue to consume it and it's cheaper and easier to mass produce? And then they can just hoard all the natural resources for the things that they want to use it for. So, yeah. Um, I'm so glad to hear that, Keisha, that you guys have things like that up north in New Jersey and stuff like that. I thought that was just really prevalent in the South, but that makes me very happy that you guys have that up there in the concrete jungle. All right, I really don't care to Gavin Newsom stuff. I don't care to really dig into politicians unless I'm seeing what they're doing on the world scale. Gavin Newsom isn't a big dog. I don't care to read him because anything that these politicians are doing, they won't succeed. And sure, if they oppose Trump, then he'll go at them. He's like the 50 Cent of politicians, except he's been ordained and anointed to do exactly what he's doing. So his ops won't win. They won't succeed. And he'll fill his terms. Nobody's going to impeach him or anything like that. It's just a theater show, and I'd rather look above it than look on the ground level of it. And I'd also rather divert your attention to the parts that actually don't matter, that are a part of the theatrics. If Gavin Newsom thinks he has power to do something to Trump, he is full of himself and he isn't reading the room. And that just shows he isn't in the right rooms because he hasn't gotten the call yet. See, Keisha, now that is the type of value that I like to add. That makes me feel like I'm not just here. I've utilized my time and my energy and my gifts, and I don't even want to call them gifts anymore, my abilities, the things that I know wisely. Those series are actually going to be the foundation of how I transition and what I transition into. And at some point, yes, I'll just say that those are going to be the foundations. Those are going to turn into bigger things. I mentioned before that uh, when I left Lockheed, before I started my next job, in that downtime, I was working on what Spirit told me was supposed to be a book, and I had a name and everything. But I was compiling the research for it at the time, and that was showing generational patterns in families using the everybody's collective birth charts. I think I mentioned that to my members before. I was going to use my own family's birth chart start, and I was just going to utilize my maternal family for an example. And then the next volume, I was going to do my paternal family so that I can show any differences in paternal and maternal influence in children. But I was going to start with just showing generational, what we call curses, but generational patterns. And I just starting with the grandparents on down to their children, on down to their children, where you would come in. So yourself, your siblings, your first cousins, your aunts, uncles, and then your grandparents. And so I had gotten I gotten all of their birth dates, but getting their birth times, I didn't have any of their birth times. I could only get that from my cousins, and some of them not. None of my parents and her siblings knew their birth times or anything like that. And so there were some things that I couldn't get from the chart, but there were a lot of things that I could. And I still have the research, but I got another HR job and then I didn't have the time to invest in it anymore. And at some point I will revisit it. I'll complete it. And I just hope that spirit doesn't force me in a negative way to have the time to do that. Um, if I am forced into it, I'd like to be because I'm financially free. So that way I have the time and the freedom to be able to invest into all of those things. And even the series that we do, I have plans to grow those as well. Maybe not writing books on those, but expounding on those a lot more in different ways and on different platforms. Even integrating some of you guys, some of my busted babies. I traveling more and expanding a little bit. There are things on the horizon that I've been cooking up immediately after the Crown of Success, actually. So that's how the Crown of Success has been hitting me first and foremost. Shout out to the Crown of Success that we just did on the first, because I have been really, really, really in it's like, in my mind, it's being rearranged. And so the Crown of Success does that. It's not just about bringing you the money and making sure that you're successful, but you have to be realigned with a vision of success for you to inherit all of the things that you can possibly inherit. So that's how it's working on me. And yeah. All right, what else you guys got? I got some more time. It's only been 42 minutes, so I have time. Are you still here? I could read on Cardi B again. Except I'm not going to read on what she's on the stuff she has going on with everyone. If I read on Cardi B again, did Rihanna get a BBL? I don't think so. I'll check and see, but she just had 3 damn kids. So I imagine she probably got some butt. And if anything, maybe have gotten like some lipo or something. I have a cousin, my best friend. She's my cousin, but she's my best friend. And when she went and got lipo, it was in 2022, because as I was helping her close out her house, as I was closing out her house, she had lipo. And if she hadn't scheduled it before we started that process, I would have killed her. But in the middle of closing, she went and got lipo that she had pre-scheduled. And when she was in the recovery home and she was FaceTiming me, all the girls was like, "Oh my God, your BBL looks so T, it looks so good." And all she did was have lipo because her body was already BBL. Once she got, and she had a hysterectomy, so she had a pouch. Um, and she's young. She's younger than me. She's 36. She had her hysterectomy at 33. So she went and got lipo to get rid of that little hysterectomy pouch she had. It She already had wide hips like her mom and a big butt, but once she got that the waist snatched, it accentuated them hips and ass that was already there. And to this day, she looks like she had a BBL, but all she did is get some fat sucked out of her stomach, and she's had 3 kids. So I think some of them just wear that weight real good. I don't think Rihanna is a BBL girly. I don't think she's a nip tuck girly, and if anything, but I'll see. Spirit, and I don't know if I'll be, well, if she did have a surgery, I would pull a sword of some sort, indicating cutting. Spirit, did Rihanna get a BBL, a BBL? When did she have the time? When did she have the time? She over there in Barbados living real close to nature. She doesn't give me a full body invasive surgery like that. Did Rihanna have a BBL? Look, work. Work, 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 work. My send me out in a work, 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 work. And let me know my work, 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 work. And send me how we work, 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 work. La 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 la. And hear me on la 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 la. And then she been doing the same thing I've been doing. And if y'all been seeing my Instagram, then y'all know how she looked like, what she looked like. Because how I look like what I look like up under this robe. Y'all be seeing where I be at, getting real fine and real yummy. Did y'all see them yams I posted on my Instagram today? They real yummy. Just yam, yam, yam. Stomach gone, just yam. No stomach, just flat and yam. Stomach gone, waist gone, and then yam. Yes, I've been working real hard on that. I knocked after the first 6 months when I built up that core and that foundation, I said, oh, you know what I found out was weak? My core stomach. So then I had to redirect my focus on that, because you'll notice your body will tell you when your core is weak. When you be trying to go in there and work on your glutes, you'll get to a point where your body can't handle all that leg and glute muscle if your core ain't strong. And I hit that point 6 months in. And so it wasn't even really me trying to, get fine. That's a perk. But I felt my body telling me there's some building that you can't do because you've reached a point where the rest of your body needs to be strong to build up all the muscle weight. So listen, fine as hell. Y'all can't tell me shit. Y'all could never, but she's been working. She's been working at it. She probably been in the gym. But she's not a social media girly like that, so y'all not gonna see it. Nah. Rihanna had 3 of them kids, and she might have had some complications with the last one. So I don't think she would have gotten surgery. The girl might have put her body through it. And so I think she's been working out to become healthy. Her and her man might be in the gym. She got a gym partner, a dedicated partner. No, listen, Rihanna has been, first of all, I think since the pregnancies, she's been working out, but she's also put on happy weight, that good relationship weight. Listen, that girl happy. She's in a really good place in her life. And asking if she got a BBL allowed me to see this energy and feel it. She doing good. She's mentally healthy, physically getting healthier the right way. She's in a healthy relationship. She over there surrounded by her roots, Mother Nature, not all the processedness. She over, listen, no. And I told y'all when I did that reading in my members live, and then I made it public, if y'all love Rihanna, leave her alone about the music because she good. She in a good place. And trying to make her go back over there is bringing her back into the devil's den. And she cleared that, cleansed herself from that energy too. I'm telling y'all, she did a cleansing bath in her promo for Anti. She did a blue bath. I think it was violet, but it was a blue bath for promo. And she has not turned back into that kind of music since. Once she cleansed herself, you don't go back into what you cleanse yourself from. Now you're going to get ate alive. And they've been trying to bring her back by any means necessary, slandering her, all kinds of stuff. But Rihanna is a smart and spiritual girl, so she's wise. She knows that if she goes back full-fledged into the devil's den, what it would mean for her after she's cleansed herself. So leave her alone when it comes to music. Yes, 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 yes. Look, Jay-Z trying to bring her back in the loop. There you go, Miss Thompson. I was about to say, so it seemed like they messing with her money somehow. That's what that is. Fire sign, a big dog messing with her money, ringing the alarm, come back, blowing the sound, come back. They want her to do a tour. She don't want to do a new album, a world tour. She don't want to do it. And they sound an alarm to try to bring her back. He been doing everything he can since he's her big dog when it comes to music, and been messing with her money. No, they're not, Miss Thompson. Y'all want to ask that? Because I don't see any one of them being a billionaire. That's me laughing and seizing at the same time. Because my mind, both hemispheres of my mind were having a hard time comprehending that. So it's funny, but at the same time, when my logical mind tried to interpret the joke, I seized. So this is me laugh. I'm going to do it again. That's me laughing and seizing at the same time. Because how? That's the spiritual, the medium part of me that operates through the middle part of my brain, saying, hold on, hey, none of us recognize that what's going on here. Neither hemisphere of the brain can comprehend that, not the spiritual part, not the logical part. So when you try to make that make sense in your God part of your mind, of yourself, that's how people have strokes. When both hemispheres of the brain come together in a clash, in an impact, it's an impact. They both are saying, I'm right. No, I'm right. That's why they say crazy people, they hear voices. They do. They're tapped in, but their logical mind cannot make sense of it. Society says that that isn't true. When that happens to you, you're crazy. And so both hemispheres of the brain who are operating at peak clash against each other, and then they get stuck in the middle in limbo. Yes, their spiritual being is operating at peak. These would be the world's greatest psychics. And we wouldn't even be able to call them psychics. They would just be computers. I could be that way if my logical mind didn't grow up in a spiritual/religious family who were spiritually based. Because when my gift being so strong as it is, and it's stronger than I let on to, when I'm by myself, I get extra crazy. And sometimes I still do struggle with that. Sometimes I still do. And so I have to step away from trying to comprehend myself and just let it be. And then later on, some form of understanding vis-a-vis something I read or something will bring the understanding that I needed so that I don't feel crazy. Everybody doesn't have that luxury of their minds being prone to being equally strong, but knowing when, knowing how to operate with each other's strength. These are people who they call schizo, who are operating at peak spiritually because you're in a human body, but you're a spirit. But their conditioning, their mental programming forces them to try to understand. And that's what we have a left brain for, to filter through everything that we inherent, that we bring in through our conductive side of the universal, the consciousness, the ethers. The mind will try to filter that in a way that we understand it. But if the mind, if it's too much, if it's an overload for the rational mind, then it's like a computer. It'll heat up, start sparking, and then eventually the whole computer will just crash because it's an overload of information that the computer has a hard time processing. Computer processor, programming, computing, and processing. I don't even know how I got there, but I'm glad that I delivered that for you guys. Is eating chicken today affecting the biological working of the body? Depends on what kind of chicken you're eating. The chicken that I eat, and if you're eating fresh chicken, no, it's probably helping. But yes, most of everything we're eating today. I mentioned that I go out of my way to buy in bulk once a month from, and I don't have to buy it in bulk once a month. It's just, if you buy it in bulk once a month and get the right package, you don't have to go back because it's expensive. But anyways, I buy my meats in bulk from the farmer's market. I get everything fresh um, on purpose because I want to live and I want to operate at peak. And trauma has done enough to my health and my internal health. And so I don't need any more work on my plate to maintain my health. Meaning, if I can work through all of the damage and try to recorrect all the damage that trauma has done, I'm not going to add on to that or debilitate that effort by adding a bunch of nasty food into my body. I try to eat as clean and incorporate as much life into my body as possible. I'm not saying that I don't fuck off. I got a Taurus ascendant, first of all. And I told y'all about how I keep snacks on deck. However, I am proud to say that at least for the past 6 to 9 months, I have not been eating candy. I don't even think I've had any candy except what I ate on camera the other day, and the rest of it is still there because it didn't taste good. Candy, soda, um, and I still do have cravings for sweets. So, but my body is craving. Like I don't even get cravings for bad sweets now. I get craving for certain fruit. Is it lychee or lychee? However you pronounce that, I've never known. I eat it all the time, but I don't ask me how to pronounce it. And when you tell me, I will forget. I eat a lot of that. I eat a lot of rambutan. I call it orangutan. So it's difficult when I try to say it for real. Lychee, that's how you pronounce it? Okay, I eat a lot of that. I eat a lot of rambutan. It's expensive, but when I'm in the mood to splurge on sweets, then that's what I'll do because it gives me the same fulfillment I need from candy. But because I'm in the gym so much, my body my body tells me exactly what I need. And if it's a sweet, it'll tell me what kind of sweet it needs, but it doesn't tell me to go get nasty sweets anymore. And to be honest, that happened naturally just from being disciplined and consistent in my exercise. Um, because it kind of my body is my health, my internal health is correcting itself just from adding exercise. I didn't have to consciously cut it out. I just stopped wanting it and I started wanting other things. Last night, it was midnight and I got out of the bed to go get a jar of peanut butter and some Ritz crackers. And y'all, I sat up in that bed. Digging them crackers in that peanut butter, and I thought it's because my body is needing protein right now. And I was like, I didn't have my usual protein drink after the gym. And so all the hard work I put into the gym, my body is eating away at the muscle. So I'm losing protein. And so this morning I had ran out of my protein drink. So I went to the store immediately today and got some more so that my body doesn't eat away at the muscle after I've worked at it. I don't know. No, creamy, crunchy, no. Listen, I'm a texture girl. So I don't even eat avocado because of the texture. So no, I can't. That creamy and crunchy at the same time, it's my mind. I'm telling you, my mind can't process it. And it freaks me out. I can't. It's an information overload. And so it's not that it's nasty, but no, eating it kind of gives me anxiety because I can't process the textures at the same time. My mind, it's too much. I can't do avocado because of the texture. Everybody's always like, yeah, but the only taste it has is whatever you add to it. Yeah, but you can't change the texture. So no. I don't eat pear because of the texture. I don't eat okra because of the texture. So yeah, I'm a texture girl. Very sensitive. Then why is you here, ho? If you don't care. Ho, why is you here? In the wise words of Jocelyn. I feel like I was about to look into something before I went on a health tangent. And I actually want to do okra. I want to like okra and tomatoes, but I don't eat okra or tomatoes. Unless tomatoes are cooked down where I can't taste the tomato-ness. There it is, Billionaire B. Thank you, Keisha. I like cheesecake, but not too much. Like I'll have to get rid of a whole layer of the cheese part. Now, red velvet cheesecake, because red velvet is my favorite everything. Ooh, not like the not it has to be homemade red velvet, and you got to make it right. It's a way to make red velvet and a way to make it unright. Since I live in the South, I can go get red velvet, real good red velvet. I get somebody to make it with an old school passed down grandmama recipe, because we still passing down grandmama recipes around here. All right. Most High Mother and Father God, Beyonce, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Beyonce. I'm gonna read the whole situation here. Please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Batty B. Y'all remember they used to call her Batty B because of the OMG girls? Beyonce. Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter, my cousin sister. Beyonce, Beyonce, Batty B. Now, why am I being brought to your Batty B era? I like that. It was so youthful and fun and bad. You was a baddie bee. You was a little bit outside. Body was tea. It was full of youth and vigor. And yes, that's back when you used to smoke a little bit. I ain't talking about cigars either. Yeah, y'all remember that picture that came out of Beyonce on her yacht on vacation, eyes red, low, smoke coming out her mouth, and she was holding either it was a vape or it was a blunt. But listen, I like that era of you, Batty B. That's when you was outside. You was like, fuck it. I've been rich and sheltered all my life. I'm out your third ward, H time. And I liked it. You and Solange was running around outside, just having y'all way. I love that for you girls. I wish I was y'all cousin then. Not cousin. I don't want to be related to anybody who's a celebrity because anybody might be up for grabs when they decide to go up a notch. Because sometimes they don't know who finna get took. They don't always get a say. So not your cousin, but y'all homegirl from back in H time. I'd love to be one of them. Not cousin though. Mm-mm. I don't want to be no celebrity cousin. I want to be the celebrity cousin because them niggas safe. My family's safe in my hands. If anything, I'm conducting the ceremonies. I got an old nice, since we talking recipes, I got an old nice nasty recipe passed down to me from an old nice nasty rude boy, old bear man. He in his 60s too, so he an old school one. And I know who his clients is, so um, but if y'all ever check my services list, it'll say inquire about services not listed. All right, Batty B, my cousin sister. Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter spirit. Please compel Beyonce to speak from her spirit's soul and collective energy, from her spirit's truth, not her ego's truth. Compel her to allow me to see her soul in all of its entirety. Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter, Betty B, King B, Queen B. Uh, any more aliases I'm missing? Are you a billionaire for real? For real? I ain't talking about a celebrity billionaire. There's a difference between billionaires and celebrity billionaires. Sasha Fierce, yes, thank you. Goodness. Okay. Are you truly in all of your accounts, your bank accounts, your portfolios, and all of that? Have you truly, independently reached billionaire status? You vote no, sissy? Well, let's see. I need the Hierophant. I need the Hierophant. Ten of Pentacles gives me very wealthy, multimillionaire. Maybe either the Hierophant or the Ten of Pentacles. I need one of them. And I need them in the present position. Because that'll tells me she's presently amongst that elite. The Four of Cups of Pentacle, not even the King of Pentacles. I need it in the present position now. I can say that this could be still billionaire status without it being a pentacle, because this gives me elite, first of all. And I have used this in context of the elites before. So, without saying she's a billionaire or not, Beyonce is in a class, I won't say of her own, but she is a part of the elite. She is a part of the class that do not care truly about society other than what they can utilize them for. She's reached that level to where regular people are only sheep and useful for labor. No, it's not a trick. It's not a trick. She's an elite. She could be a billionaire with this. She could be a billionaire with this, because it's the select few who don't care really about any of this. Is God's hand of the divine. So I won't say but God, but she's not like us anymore. She's not even like other wealthy people. She has, rather her money physically adds up to it, who she is has put her in very, very elite and godlike. These are the people who see themselves as the God of this earth, and they don't regard any natural order of things. That's what this here means. They don't, I'm going to say they don't think like everyone else, because that's the difference of them. That's the difference of them. And let me tell you a secret. This isn't even me condemning her or them. Beyonce isn't in the hierarchy of the beast. She's not any of the colonizers and any of those whose families and ancient lineages conquered and divided up the spoils of the earth for themselves. She is, however, in rooms with them. And to be in rooms with them, you have to think and become like them. Now, also let me say this, because in essence, we should all think like these people, especially if you're Black. Because not thinking like them is how we are in positions that we are in, and they are in positions that, in my opinion, they do not deserve, did not inherit. So thinking there gets you there. I'm a woo lady, so I live this. I know this. Thinking there gets you there. Seeing yourself there gets you there. And to be honest, becoming wealthy is hard, not because of the sleepless nights and the physical labor. It's because of the mental processes that you have to overcome and the ones you have to adapt. It's hard if you weren't born into it, so that because you're not nurtured by that environment. So that's why it is hard for people like them to get there, because of the way they have to overcome their nature that they were nurtured into, and the mental processes they have to adapt. And so this is just me saying she has overcome. many self limitations. And so I'm going to say, not, I'm coming from a space where a lot of you guys may not understand. And when I say this, it may sting a little bit or hit a certain way. But my prayer is that one day you come into the place of understanding. As it relates to herself, she has become a God. She has found her God nature. And ain't no God good all the time or bad all the time. They're everything at the right time, which is how they acquire what they acquire. So, in my sense, in my opinion, that makes her a little bit different from the elite that she's aligned herself with, those who were born in recent generations into it. Because going down another rabbit hole, that's not their inheritance, that's not their birthright, even though physically they were born into it in recent times. Nevertheless, as a Black woman, because I am a spiritualist and I understand esoteric and occult truths, she followed her path to her individual self actualization. That's it. I don't want to say God nature, I want to say self actualization. And so that's the positive aspect of it. However, I do believe that once you've come to full self actualization and there's money and tangible power, worldly power attached to it, when you reach that level, you decide or you look out and say, now what can I conquer? I've already become my own version of God, my own individual God. I've already actualized my fullest potential. Where do I go next? If you're in Hollywood, you're going to go with them. My consultations are $75 for 1 hour, one full hour. Beyond the Veil Adina at gmail.com. Florida man, thank you. If any of the mods don't mind just writing that so I can pin it in the chat for anyone who inquires. This is where me and my coven sister differ because she would wonder what's next and she would think more power, but in a worldly sense. So then she goes to where the worldly power goes, especially if you're experiencing challenges that you can't get your way out of. But Beyonce, this has nothing to do with what we're reading, her billionaire status. I said this a long time ago. I don't remember in what reading, in what context. But you, my dear, as my coven sister, had enough power to not have to go into their world. You could have created a bigger world. You could have created multiple worlds for yourself to thrive and exist in. You didn't have to go into their world because their world will come to an end. Your world could have existed. And I don't know if it's too late. No, it's too late. You belong to Hollywood. But at some point, you could have leveraged your power and brought Hollywood to their knees. It would have looked like you going the Nicki Minaj route. Because despite what it looks like for Nicki Minaj, she can go and build other worlds now. The only world that she doesn't exist in now is the Hollywood world. But it's my opinion that she saw the writing on the wall that everybody was closing in on her. And I told y'all she was going to burn the whole house down behind her. That's what it would have had to look like for you. That's what it looks like when you outgrow one world and when that world says that you don't have the right to leave. This is what it looks like when that world tells you you can't leave. I own you. And when you die, that is the valley of the shadow of death. That's what it's going to look like. Because when you die, as your consciousness is leaving your body and it doesn't just zap out, your brain has to have time. That computer has to shut down. And it's been running for decades and decades and decades most of the time if you die at a later age. But when you die, your consciousness is trying to leave your body. And that same clash between the hemispheres might happen again. And this is how, anyways, you need to understand this in life because we constantly die in life to prepare us for the final death. Your brain, as it's shutting down, is recognizing physically that it's shutting down, and your brain doesn't go with you. Everything that you were taught, everything that you think, your physical body, what you see, what you hear, the contract that you left at your house that you didn't get a chance to sign, the job that you didn't get a chance to apply for, that's all left brain because that's everything we comprehend from our perception. So it's only real because we understand it. We perceive it. We understand it. We reason it to be real. However, when we die, our reason dies. The right side of us, which is fueled by our spirit, that does not. However, your body, which has been running the show, being the front man for your spirit, it's not going to want to die. It's not going to want to see the other part of you get to live on, and it knows that it has to die. So your brain is going to start challenging your spirit as it's leaving your body. Hey, 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 hey. Where the fuck are you going? You're dying. You just got shot. You just passed away from cancer. You don't get a chance to leave. You didn't get a chance to repent for your sins. You didn't get a chance to get saved. You don't remember what you did last week when you didn't scan that pack of noodles at the checkout? That means you're a thief. Where are you going? People like you go to hell. Don't forget what you learned on this earth. That when you don't do all those things, you're going to go to hell. And consciously, your spirit wants to leave, but your mind is reminding it of all the reasons why it should stay a little longer. And that's usually how you get caught up in judgment, the second death. Because if you didn't have the right understanding in life and you didn't live a life to where your mind can accuse you and make you feel like I might need to come back and live again or repeat that, do that over. So, with that being said, you literally have to be okay with all those accusations coming against you if you know who you are and where you're going to go. I say that Nicki Minaj didn't sell her soul, and I believe Beyonce did, because Beyonce wouldn't dare walk away and burn down her legacy. And in my opinion, that would have had to happen when she was ready to leave her husband. But do you got what I don't think Beyonce knew was how much that would have empowered her and how much the world, all of her fans, she could have and then that would have opened up a new world for Beyonce to exploit and explore. all kinds of empowerment and exploration in that. And we could have gone on that journey with her. But Beyonce had Hollywood in her ear and her husband who had an incentive for her not to leave him. Because mark my words, Jay-Z knew that Beyonce could thrive without him, but he could not thrive without her. That would have been the end of him, Beyonce leaving him. So there were so many people around her. Hey, 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 where you going? You're going to lose your career. What about this? What about your businesses? What about repentance ain't needed? No, 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 Keisha. You haven't understand it yet. Repentance is not needed. Repent for what? That's going to make you feel like you need to come back, because if you die with that mindset tomorrow, if you die in 10 minutes, you're going to think you need to come back and redo the things that you did wrong. No. No. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff. I teach that in my members group. Keep watching the videos. What is the rod and the staff? Everything you've learned and understood that you can stand on, that you can take with you into the afterlife. A rod and a staff is something that when you are feeble and weak, it's a cane. If you get weak, it can prop you up so that you don't fall. That understanding is going to cause you to fall and circle back, because that's a part of the bondage belief that I said that religion has put on us. That religion is death and bondage, because that belief is going to make you come back and repeat lessons that you did not need to repeat until you find the lifetime where you stop believing that you need to do that. You know what the rod and the staff is? When it starts saying, where you going? You don't know what you did? I ain't did shit. My physical self that was trapped in a body that was prone to ignorance. Left brain. Left brain only knows what it's programmed to know, which is why you also have a right brain, wisdom. Because in life, in 3D life, which is our physical body, the part of us that dies, is operated by our brain. When your brain stops functioning, you die. However, the activity of your right brain does not. So that's why it's attached to your spirit. Don't listen. Your right brain is there to help you mitigate everything that the world teaches you. You have to also be tapped in to some wisdom, a source outside of yourself, to be able to help you understand when you've been taught something by society that is not true. That's where religion came in to dampen the effects of spirituality, because spirituality in all cultures has always said, know thyself and go within. Knowing yourself is knowing, am I really truly a horrible person? Have I lived a life where I did not live upright according to myself? How did I treat people? Because when you die and your brain is replaying all of those memories, because that's a part of your brain shutting down. And that's what Christianity talks about. After you die and you go and you see your life flash before you, that's a function of the brain shutting down. All of your memories and all of your experiences will, but the only difference is you'll also experience them from the other perspectives of the people that you affected, which is why living upright, it's not a religious belief. It's, can you handle the way you treated other people when you pass away and those events are recalled to you? But also, because you're fully conscious and aware, you will experience those memories, not just from your perspective, but the other people's perspective too. You'll get to see how you affected the greater good, how you made ripple effects in the world. And if you are not able to look at that and live with it, That is where the condemnation comes in, and then the karma, because now you decide to go into a body and go back into the earth so that you can change the things that you did. So it's not about repentance. You need to live according to how you feel is upright, according to your highest good. It's the way, and you have to recall the life you live. You're okay with it. And there's nothing that can make you feel to circle the block, which is why you have to know yourself. Man, know thyself. Treat people good, because in a moment when you don't have the opportunity to go back and apologize because your brain is dead and it's going through the function of recalling from the collective consciousness perspective, you don't have to look at yourself and see that you were the devil the whole time. You'll see whether you were an angel, a demon, a god, or a devil. And that's where repentance comes in, because then you'll feel bad depending on where you fell in it. And now you got to go into another body, into another life, and then repeat those things again with more challenges so that you get it right this time. No. Repent for who? Just change because you know you need to. Just be who the best version of yourself so that you don't regret anything. You don't carry regrets with you. So, anyways, I brought up Nicki Minaj because, in a sense of selling your soul, Beyonce has done that, in my opinion. Because Nicki Minaj is what it looks like when you die to the physical world, and the physical world is trying to tell you why you're not worthy of existing outside of that perceived existence. For the most part, Nicki Minaj has lived as the queen of rap, and she's grown her fame and her legacy from that. And so when she shapeshifted into another form of herself, religious political Nicki, that was a form of death, transition. Hey, Rosia, happy Wednesday. Death equals transition. And when she died, AKA transition, that same process happened. It's the same process you'll go through when you die for real. But we go through various transitions and deaths throughout life to prepare us for the final one. When the accuser, when the world that she lived in came to say, "Where are you going? Where are you going?" When we say you die, you're supposed to no longer exist. Isn't that what religion teaches you? You die and you either go to a heaven or hell. That means you no longer exist. But no, the soul, it continues to exist. The heaven or the hell is determined when you have to, when your brain is replaying the present life that you just finished, and you either determine whether you sucked, whether you failed because you saw yourself killing a kitty. You saw yourself online being a troll to people who were genuinely doing good in the world. And you thought, you know what, in the grand scheme of things, that was fucked up of me. And if I had the opportunity to do it again, I would. And the next thing you know, you in a new suit, a new body. No, we're actually reading Beyonce. But I brought up something because I didn't want to just read Is Beyonce a Billionaire? Because something else is coming up here. And it's a bigger message than just reading. I could just easily have told y'all no or yes. But it's a bigger message that can be delivered here. And I'm talking about how she had to sell her soul, in my opinion, to get to where she is. And in my opinion, she had reached her self actualization phase, which is what we would call a God knowledge of yourself. And she had the ability, when she found out how powerful she truly was, how talented, powerful she truly was, to make herself Beyonce, that she could make herself anything. But she had a husband who was leeching onto her and had her feeling like we are Bonnie and Clyde. We coexist. She had the industry saying, because they also know how powerful she is. What are you going to do without your label? What are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about your team? Without us, without all of us, who are you? And if you try to leave, we'll destroy you. In that moment, that's where you decide your fate. Do you decide that you're a god, or do you decide that you're just a mortal? Do you say, because they said that they're going to destroy me, that I'm going to lay down and give them power? Or do you say, you can't destroy me because I don't exist in your world anymore? I've already left that body. That's what Nicki Minaj did. It's in my opinion that Nicki Minaj was going to try to give you guys a little razzle dazzle, and she still might. But I also told y'all the best of her is gone, and she will burn it down behind her because she sees that there's no more left for her to conquer in music. So when that industry comes for her, it was easy for her to go and sit on the stage with Erica Kirk, because she had already decided to die to that existence, to that world. That's actually how to do it. Whether we agree with the new world she's creating for herself, she died the right way. And that's not by letting this world tell you that that's all you are. Because when that happens physically, when you die, if you don't let your brain tell you, because it knows it has to die with your body, but your soul goes on, then you get to choose if you want to come back into another meat suit for a higher purpose for humanity, or whether you want to go on and explore the universe in other realms and dimensions. But you get to choose that because you know yourself enough to know that that world that you just left, you probably left a couple of times. So it's not the end all be all. Beyonce was powerful enough when she left, when she did Lemonade, that was her opportunity. And she would have become way bigger than she is now. I'm talking about MJ. They compare her to MJ, and by numbers and current charts and stuff, she might be. But the energy of impact and impact of MJ, she it's not the same. It's close. She could have been that with Lemonade. After she dropped that, if she followed it up with a surprise divorce, and not for our sake, for her sake, if she surprised Jay-Z with a divorce, if she had been plotting and planning for years prior to it, released Lemonade, and then as soon as Lemonade dropped, divorce papers to back it up, I'm telling you, Beyonce would have unfucking touchable. And her team and all the people who wanted to leech on her, who saw a benefit in her maintaining, being submissive to the industry, if she had kept it from them too, then she would have defeated them before they could have even had the chance to talk her or reprogram her, change her mind otherwise. We would have been able to follow her through her divorce. The world would have been cheering her on for leaving Jay-Z. especially after she exposed everything in Lemonade. So we would have been listening to Lemonade for us to understand why there were divorce papers. And that music would have been narrating us through it all. And by the end of Lemonade, she could have ended it with sorry, and then launched in Act 3 with a rock. Lemonade in that album with Sorry, and then go to a rebel rock era. Because now you're the Beyonce that rebelled. You rebelled against the system. You rebelled against your cheating husband. You rebelled against the machine by dropping it all suddenly without them or us knowing. You could have gave us rock then, ending Lemonade with Sorry. And no, 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 not sorry. Don't hurt yourself. Not sorry. Don't hurt yourself. Not sorry. Don't hurt yourself. That would have been the last song on Lemonade, and then I would have launched my rebel rock era, showing me, coming out of the era of being Mrs. Carter, Bonnie and Clyde, Beyonce era. I would have gave straight rock Tina then, and gave I'm rebelling against what the system wanted me to be, the version of what, bitch, I would have went independent then too. I would have dropped Columbia, launched Parkwood, solo independently. Bitch. And now what's happened? Because she sold her power to these elites who get to determine whether she's a billionaire or not, because they can determine whether she's a billionaire or not, because she let them have the control. So this isn't saying whether she is, this is saying that she's in with them. She's in rooms with them. But she traded what she could have been for whatever they decide to let her have. And now look, she's taken a hit to her own personal image because she stayed with her husband and then he started going down. I said this a long time ago in a Beyonce reading. Lemonade was your opportunity, and your ancestors, because you had conjured up all that Oshun energy for Lemonade, they were going to support you. You didn't have to be afraid of what it looked like on the other side. They were going to support you and make sure you were still okay. As a matter of fact, they were going to make sure that Jay-Z knew that he only existed because of you, and you was that bitch. Your ancestors were going to do that for you. They wept when you chose to stay after you conjured up all that energy just to make him submit for a little bit. And then what happened? They circled the block, and then you got caught up with him. That's why I said Rihanna would have gotten in trouble spiritually had she cleansed herself when she did that cleansing bath with Anti and then went back. Think about how Rihanna would have been caught up in all this Roc Nation drama. But she's clean and clear and under control because she cleansed herself, relied on her own power, and created a new world. She did the same thing. She died and then went and created a new world because she knew she was powerful enough to do so. And what happened to her? She got rich. Independent of the devil that was in her ear telling her you can't do it without me. And look how it turned out for Beyonce. And she had that same devil in her ear. But in truth, he couldn't do it without the. And look who suffers for staying. Look who lost some of her power and Ashe for staying. And look who didn't. So all I'm saying is, thy rod and thy staff that will walk you through any valley of the shadow of death has to be you. Because you're the only thing that you can ever truly know tangibly and depend on. At the end of the day, you know that you got you. And that's the only thing that you ever can know, because you can never determine somebody else's intentions at any given point but your own. So, man, know thyself was the teaching of you guys as Jesus of your Christ, and that the temple was within. Go within means know yourself, not anybody else. They tell you to study more than you study yourself. Because at the end of the day, you have to know, if they tell you that it's time for you to die out, do you know yourself and what you're capable of to know that you can shape shift and exist when they tell you you can't? Because if you don't, then you're going to sell your soul to them. Then you're going to die with regrets and unfulfilled potential, because they held your potential in their hands. Man, know thyself. That's thy rod and thy staff that will comfort you no matter what trials and tribulations go on. I'll figure it out. I always do. I ain't worrying about it. And when your brain is telling you that, when you're dying, all you got to do is, bitch, you're dying. All I got to do is stay put in this darkness for one more hour, 5 more minutes, and you won't even have any more function. You won't even be able to make me think that about myself. But I will still exist. Doesn't matter what I stole at the grocery store when I was 12. Doesn't matter when I'm dying, when that body who did it no longer exists. My soul didn't take it. Bitch, my body did. So should have put me in jail while I was alive. Should have caught me then. I'm gone now. So Beyonce is in circles with billionaires, but I don't know if her money shows it. Her challenge is everything I just said. See, Spirit wanted me to give a bigger message about billionaires and not billionaires in this world where you guys respect the wealthy more than you respect the poor. When you guys say, so what if that person is a whore and a vagabond? They rich. Spirit needed you to know why that don't matter. Sure, enjoy it while it lasts. But if you had to give away your own personal power to get it, you're going to be full of regrets and missed lessons, and you're going to come back fucking poor. Because when you don't have all of these distractions in the world of wealth and fame at your feet, it's easier for you to focus on the things that matter. So value your circumstances no matter where you are in life, and focus on finding your personal power, because then you can get yourself out of your circumstances, and then at the same time have enough self-awareness to know, even if I do become filthy rich, I'm self-aware enough to know that when the devil comes knocking, trying to make me trade my power, I'll walk away. Because if I can pull myself from here and get out of that situation, then I can get out of that one too and rebuild every time. Can't be afraid to lose. Beyonce's challenge is that she gave away her personal power, but she has to maintain this level of power to the less powerful. So no, Beyonce is not a billionaire, but Beyonce needs to appear as one. She's experienced too many challenges in the recent past. She was well on her way at some point, but then she experienced too many setbacks. And in my opinion, this has to do with Jay-Z. Even this as her challenge means she chose to be Jay-Z's wife instead of being Beyonce Giselle Knowles. In the near future, Beyonce will do everything she can to fulfill that. She wants to get back on track for her and Jay-Z. She has something she's planning, and it's getting closer. I said that a while ago. I said Beyonce is coming. So it's getting a little bit closer. Spring, summer, something like that. Beyonce needs money. She's not a billionaire, but Forbes uses that list as leverage so that celebrities can maintain a certain image for you guys because they need to influence you all. That is the only reason that Forbes advertises wealthy people, is to influence you. Seriously. If if one day it was known, like Beyonce's bank statements and assets got leaked, that she was broke enough to where someone you know that went to law school and was like your version of rich, but not Beyonce's version of rich, might be on the same level, how would you guys then esteem the brand of Beyonce if she was close to being just like the rest of us? On a psychology level, that will make you guys start becoming disinterested in Beyonce because you guys need to see her a certain way in order to continue to buy into her. She has to be unattainable for you guys to spend money on her. We only desire things that we can't attain, that we can't get, which is why they dangle shiny things in front of us so that we continue to be laborious without knowing that we're working ourselves to get all of these things that they tell us to desire. Beyonce needs to continue to be a desire for you guys, a goal, a vision, a dream, because that's what people spend their money on: entertainment and desires. None of these celebrities are billionaires. They could be if the powers that be that allowed them to be rich wasn't also using them like laborious sheep. If they was getting their lion's share of what their energy, because these people are hiring them to be influencers. But if you have enough power to influence people enough to get paid for it, then you have enough power to influence people and not have somebody else pay you for it. You can get it yourself. But by the time you sign those deals, you're stuck. These celebrities are high paid influencers. They will never be allowed to have real wealth like those billionaires do because those rich white billionaires fear they have these black people around them because of their power over the people, but they also fear that power. And if they had the resources behind them, so they're not allowed to accumulate billionaire wealth. They're allowed to be multimillionaires, but even that comes with strings attached. You see, once Rihanna wouldn't come back to Rock Nation, they start saying she wasn't a billionaire anymore. Those lists are fake because they wanted you guys to stop being inspired by the mystique of Rihanna. And it kind of happened because then people start talking about how Rihanna done fell off. After they said she wasn't a billionaire anymore, you guys start talking about how she wasn't fashionable anymore, despite the fact that she kind of went off the grid. So she's not really trying that anymore. If she wanted to, she could, but you guys start turning on her. Then they gave you Tyla, and Tyla start trying to energy harvest off of her to replace her. But that was intentional too. Them trying to big up Tyla and groom her into a mini Rihanna after Rihanna didn't want to come back and play by their rules. They wanted to turn you guys against her. Boom, Rihanna's not a billionaire anymore. Rihanna's not a fashionista anymore. And because I study psychology and as a woo lady, that comes with the territory, it worked. For many people, it worked. It always does. Which is why these people get paid so much money as influencers, because they do it very well. And if somebody don't point out how you're influenced, like I just did, you might not never catch how they pull even your puppet strings. Psychological warfare. Beyonce is her relationship now, and to be honest, going from this queen, which is her challenge, to her present position, a girl with a boy. Jay-Z and Roc Nation's legal issues run the show. They run they run their life now. So everything they do is because of these legal issues and how they're trying to survive them. Even calling her a billionaire is to try to save and maintain us seeing Beyonce as losing some of her godlike mystique, because their legal situations are destroying. They might be quiet, but they ain't stop. They just they just have people not talking about it. And then publicizing, they got the media still on their side. Child. But her outcome is justice in reverse. Beyonce, it's a lie. Basically, it's a lie to keep the balance imbalanced. And you have to ask, well, why would they want the scales tipped in one side and not the other, or not balanced? What's the intent behind tipping the scales? To make a person look like something that they are not. What's the reason? Because that's the next logical question. Why would they put that out then? You guys might turn your back on Batty B. Notice this Two of Cups here? Three of Cups is her fans. Notice that Two of Cups, the one that's right here? Because Beyonce has gotten muddied by her relationship with Jay-Z and his situations. And so, to be honest, they are looking at the logistics, and even they see the difference. If Beyonce is not a billionaire, and we know that, and this is a 5, struggle, conflict, chaos. If we know that they're struggling financially, I'm telling you, psychology, you guys are gonna not, you're gonna lose. It worked for Rihanna. It worked for Rihanna. It's not that she's less fashionable, it's that the machine stopped pumping and pushing her that way. We don't get to see Rihanna as much in the tabloids and in the media because they're not doing that anymore. They're not machining for her. Rihanna probably is still fashionable, and then when they want to see her is on her off days so that they can tell you that she's falling off because she's not a billionaire anymore. Now you guys are like, Rihanna ain't doing, she done lost it. But what's Tyler doing? Listen, it would be the end. And you guys wouldn't be going to her shows and stuff anymore. This tells me they know. I don't even have to tell you guys that. They know that they have to lie because it's media programming and psychology. And it was psychology that influenced media programming, that influenced the industry so that they can make money off of the masses. They have to know how you guys operate and think to make people come out and spend a lot of money on things that they may or may not like. Eventually, they're not going to want to leave what's hot and what's not in your hands, because that puts the power in the people's hand. Now they're going to doctors and psychology people and magicians and other things like that, because magic is psychology, to figure out how to manipulate the masses. And big money is put in it. You know what they masquerade it as? Marketing. Everybody who's worked in corporate knows that the marketing budget is the biggest budget, because that's how you're going to sell whatever you're trying to sell. Marketing. How are we going to get people to, for one, be aware of our product or service, and then two, want to pay for it? How are we going to do that? Then you got to learn some psychology. Figure out how people think, how they operate, and what makes people spend. The outcome is no, she's not a billionaire, and I'm hungry, so I'm about to sign out because I just gave y'all a word. And every time I give y'all a word, I get hungry as fuck. Don't let it pain you, Wonder Woman. It used to pain me, and now I won't say I get in where I fit in, because I don't harvest, you guys. Even though as a woo lady, it could be easy. I say it all the time. If I wanted to be like a lot of other practitioners, then I would harvest you guys like celebrities do. But yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for my rod and my staff comforts me. So I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. I know my value. It's not for sale. When I leave this body, my plan isn't to come back. And so I do all of, I do all of the righteous stuff as I can in this lifetime, because I that was the reason I feel like I was even born, to come in this time of the millennials, the last generation before the New World Order, meaning we didn't grow up in the technology age, to impart these messages on a generation that could be wholly lost, or generations that could be lost. Now that technology can create all the illusions and realities for you that it wants, it's important that in this last generation that didn't live that way and did not grow up that way, so we are programmed that way, to remind you that you have the power within yourself as you become self aware and self actualized, to create whatever world for yourself that you want to live in. And it's hard today. It's harder. It's hard enough, but it's harder for those who don't know that. Me and the busted babies, we be all right. We come against trials and tribulations, and then we figure out how to get around them, and for the most part we do. And that comes from our own empowerment. We are made in the image of God, so that means I'm going to act like it. When there's a problem, a God wouldn't go look for a human, a mortal, to solve its problem. It solve it fearlessly. And that's what we do. And we've grown from it. And so I wouldn't say anything that I didn't know to be a fact. And so there is another way, but you have to know thyself first, and then be willing to stand on that, and then create your life around that. That's the hard part if you haven't. But once you have, and you've built your own new world, once you've exited theirs and the limitations they set for you, you don't worry about it no more. And to piggyback off that, Wonder Woman, I started off Beyonce's reading by saying the hardest part to becoming that version of wealthy isn't the hard work. It's get arounding the mind. So it all starts and ends, or not ends, it all starts in the mind. The magic starts in the mind. Man, know thyself. My people perish from lack of knowledge. I mean, not even lack of repentance, lack of knowledge. Because there's something we're not knowing that causes us to perish. And we all know about repentance, right? So I hope you guys, in wanting to know if Beyonce was a billionaire, left with more than that. Why she isn't, why she could have been independently. And some old shit. And now I'm drained. I'm hungry. I feel all the energy is gone out of my body. So enjoy the rest of you guys' Wednesday. I'll probably come back and only do a members live because, if I give you guys too much heavy stuff, and whether you feel like it was heavy or not, it was heavy for me to deliver. I be tired. Just like y'all pastors after the sermon, they eat and then everybody go to sleep. And after church, y'all eat and go to sleep too, because y'all be full. That word had y'all full. So members live only after I replenish. Y'all go along and play somewhere. Love y'all. Bye.